Topic is all about solving radical equations. Okay, before we solve radical equations, let's recall about these equations. Solve for the unknown value of each of the following equations. Okay, number 1, x minus 2 equals 3. For number 2, 3x minus 5 equals 4. For number 3, 4b plus 2 equals 3. 4, we have h squared minus 2h minus 3 equals 0. And for number 5, y squared plus 5y minus 6 equals 0. Okay, for the solution in number 1, x minus 2 equals 3. So our goal here is we are going to find the value of x. And how to find the value of x? X should be on one side of the equal sign, or left side or the right side. So here we are going to cancel out negative 2. So to cancel out negative 2, as you observe, we added 2 both sides. Okay? So here we have negative 2 plus 2. The result here is 0. So negative 2 will be cancelled out, or will become 0. And for the other side, 3 plus 2. So we added both sides by 2. To make that property is called about addition property of equality. So we have x plus 0 equals 3 plus 2 is equal to 5. So therefore x equals 5. So the idea of adding 2 both sides is we are going to find the additive inverse of negative 2, that is positive 2. So if we add 2 in the left side, we also add 2 in the right side. And that property is called about addition property of equality. Okay, for number 2, we have 3x minus 5 equals 4. So again, our goal here is to find the value of x. So we need to cancel out negative 5. So how we are going to cancel out negative 5? By adding its additive inverse. So the additive inverse of negative 5 is positive 5. So we add plus 5 on the left side, and we add 5 on the right side of the equal sign. So 3x minus 5 plus 5 will become 3x plus 0, because negative 5 plus 5 is equal to 0. And 4 plus 5 is equal to 9. So 3x equals 9. Since napay 3 beside x, we are going to divide both sides by 3 in order to cancel out 3, or para mawagtang na sa 3. So 3 divided 3, that's 1. 1 times x. So x na lang makakabilin. And then 9 divided 3, that's 3. Therefore, the value of x in 3x minus 5 equals 4 is equal to 3. Okay, for number 3, 4b plus 2 equals 3. Okay, same thing. We are going to cancel out positive 2. So what we are going to do is to find its additive inverse. So the additive inverse of positive 2 is negative 2. So that additive inverse will be added both sides of the equation. So add negative 2 on the left side, add negative 2 on the right side of the equal sign. Our purpose is to cancel out positive 2. So here, positive 2 plus negative 2, the result is 0. And on the other side, 3 plus negative 2 is 1. So 4b equals 1. Since napay 4 beside b, we need to divide both sides by 4. So 4 divided 4, that's 1 times b. The result is b. And 1 divided 4, so di man ma-divide si 1 ni 4. So our answer will be 1/4. So b equals 1/4. Okay, for number 4, this is a quadratic equation. H squared minus 2h minus 3 equals 0. So there are 4 methods in solving quadratic equation. We have completing the square, factoring, using quadratic formula, and the fourth one is by subtracting square root both sides. So here, since this equation is factorable, we can use factoring. Or we can also use here completing the square or by using quadratic formula. Since factorable siya, it is easy to solve using factoring. So h squared minus 2h minus 3 equals 0. So how to factor it out? Factor out the first term, which is h squared. So the factor of h squared there is h times h. Okay? And then after factoring the first term, list all the factors of the last term, which is negative 3. That the sum of these factors will be the coefficient of the second term. Now, the coefficient of our second term is negative 2. So, the factors of negative 3, that the sum is negative 2, is negative 3 and 1. If we add negative 3 and 1, the result is negative 2. Then, let us equate the two factors into 0. H minus 3 equals 0 and h plus 1 equals 0. Okay? Then, let us apply the additive inverse of negative 3, that is positive 3. So we added positive 3 to both sides of the equation. So, or simply transpose negative 3 to the right side. So this will become positive 3. And on the other hand, transpose positive 1 to the right side, positive will become negative. So h equals 3 and h equals negative 1. Another review, expand each of the following squares of binomial. For number 1, we have the quantity of n minus 2 squared. And for number 2, we have the quantity of 3m plus 4 squared. And for number 3, 2y minus 3 quantity squared. Okay, how to expand? We have here steps. For number 1, square the first term. So, the first term of our given is n. So, if we square n, the result is n squared. And then for the step number 2, multiply the exponent, the first term and the second term. So the exponent is 2, the first term is n, and the second term is negative 2. So we multiply 2 times n times negative 2. Then the operation is always plus or addition. Then for the third step is square the second term. So the second term is negative 2. So we square negative 2 squared. And then we simplify. So copy n squared, multiply the 2, multiply the 3, the exponent, the first and the second term, we have 2 times n times negative 4, that is negative 4n. And then square negative 2, the result is 4. So therefore, if we expand n minus 2 quantity squared, the result is n squared minus 4n plus 4. Okay? Next example, we have 3m plus 4 quantity squared. We are going to follow the steps. The first one is square the first term. The first term in our binomial is 3m. So, square 3m plus, using the step number 2, multiply the exponent times the first term, 3m, times the second term, 4, plus, square the second term, which is 4, so 4 squared. And then simplify. 3m quantity squared is 9m squared because 3 squared is 3 times 3. Okay? Then multiply the 3. 2 times 3m times 4, the result is 24m plus the square, the second term, which is 4 squared, is 16. So therefore, 3m plus 4 quantity squared is the same as 9m squared plus 24m plus 16. Okay, next example, number 3, the quantity of 2y minus 3 squared. So same process, we are going to follow the step. Square the first term. So the first term here is 2y. So square 2y plus multiply the exponent, the first, which is 2y, and the second term which is negative 3 plus square the second term which is negative 3 squared and then simplify. So 2y squared is 4y squared. The square of 2y is 4y squared. And then multiply 2 times 2y times negative 3. That's 4y squared minus 12y plus 9. Skills, prerequisite to siya in how to solve radical equations. So, dapat dito na to siya kalimtan nga mga skills. So, we have here the rule in solving radical equations. So if the nth root of A is a radical expression, then the nth root of A raised to the power of n is equal to A. Okay, example, cube root of y raised to the power of 3 is equal to y. Another one, the square root of x plus 1 quantity raised to the power of 2 is equal to x plus 1. So in this skills or idea or rule, gipakita din nga if the index of the radical sign and the exponent of the radicand are the same, we can cancel out the radical symbol or the radical sign and exponent. The answer will be the radicand. Okay, so muna siya idea kung pareha exponent, pareha og index, we can cancel out the radical symbol and the result will be the radicand. Okay, so take note, in solving radical equation, radical sign must be cancelled out first. So muna atong buhaton. Example number 1. Solve for x in the cube root of x plus 2 equals 3. So our solution, first copy the equation, and then as you observe, nag-cube both sides ta. It's because, take note, we are going to cancel out the radical sign first. So to cancel out the radical, tanaw na to ang index. So our index there is 3. So we cube both sides para ma-cancel out si radical sign. So na-cube na siya. Ang mabilin diha, x plus 2 na lang. Then 3 cube is equal to 27. Okay? And then we solve for x by applying the skills that we have earlier. So we add the additive inverse of positive 2 both sides para si x na lang mahabilin sa left side. Mawagtang na si 2. So 2 plus negative 2 is 0. And then 27 plus negative 2, the result is 25. So therefore, x equals 25. But first, we are going to check if that value is correct. So how to check? Use the given equation, that is cube root of x plus 2 equals 3, and then substitute the value of x that we had. That is x equals 25. So x plus 2 will become 25 plus 2 equals 3. And then the cube root of 25 plus 2, that is 27. And cube root of 27 is equals to 3. So 3 equals 3, that's true. So x equals 25 is the value of x. So we solve now the value of x is equal to 25. Okay, guys. Example number 2. Find the value of m in negative 3 times the square root of m plus 2 equals m minus 16. So you have the solution there. We copy first the equation and then canceled out the radical sign. So the radical sign there is square root, so we square both sides. So kung ang atong index kay 3, we cube. Atong index kay 4, we subtract 4. Now we raise by 4. So depende sa index. Now our index here in this problem is 2, so we square both sides. So, mahitabo ni ana, negative 3 squared will become 9. And then the square root of m plus 2 na lang. Kaya makancel out naman diha ang atong radical nga sign. And on the right side, so as you observe, square of a binomial. So, expand na to. So, katong previous skills nga atong gidiscuss kaganina, gamito na to dire. So, how we expand the square of binomial? So, square the first term, that is m squared, minus or multiply the exponent, the first, and the second term. Okay? So, 2 times m, that's 2m, times negative 16, muna siyang nahimong negative 32m. And then square the second term. That is 16 times 16, that's 256. So, naklaro ninyo? So, ako balik ko ng ganina ha. So, muna siya ang rule ganina pag, muna yung steps in how to expand a binomial. Square the first term, multiply the exponent, the first term and the second term, and square the second term. So, mao to siya. Munang nahimo na siyang m squared minus 32m plus 256. And then we combine like terms. So, when we say like terms, they are having same variable and same exponent. So here, 9m and negative 32 are like terms. 256 and negative 18 are also like terms. So we can combine these terms. So what we are going to do, ato na lang i-apply ang transpose. So we transpose 9m to the right side of the equal sign. 9m will become negative 9m. And also, positive 18, gitranspose sa right side of the equal sign, nahimo siyang negative 18. So ang rule, kani siyang transpose, is the shortcut of finding the additive inverse and using addition property of equality. So ato na lang i-transpose para madali nato ang solution. Anyway, same answer naman gihapon ang resulta. So, transpose, again, when we say transpose, mulabang siya og equal nga sign. So pag mulabang siya equal nga sign, ma-change ang iyang original sign. So here 9m will become negative 9m kaya gitranspose man nato siya sa right side sa equal sign. And 18 will become negative 18. So what will be left in the left side of the equal sign is 0. So 0 equals si m squared wala ma-change ang sign kaya wala man nato gi-change, wala man nato gi-transpose si m squared. So m squared as well as negative 32. So m squared minus 32m minus 9m, si positive 256 wala ma-change ang sign kaya wala man ito sa gi-transpose. 256 minus 18. So, in that case, so, m squared, si negative 32 ug si negative 9 ato makombine because like terms sila. When you say like terms again, pareha og variable, pareha og exponent. Parehag variable m, parehag exponent nga 1, 1. So, ato lang buhaton how to combine is we are going to add or subtract the numerical coefficient. So, negative 32 minus 9, they have the same, kumbaga, in addition of integers, they have the same sign. We are going to add the two integers and then copy the sign. So, 32 and 9 is 41 and the sign of these two numbers is negative. So, we write negative 41. And then 256 minus 18, that is 238. So we arrive a quadratic equation. So how to solve for m? As I said earlier, that there are 4 methods in solving for quadratic equation. So since this equation is a factorable, we can use factoring. For me, para ma-solve ninyo ang problem using, para ma-solve ninyo ang problem like quadratic equation, i-master ninyo ang factoring and using quadratic formula. It's because not all of the equations are factorable, but all quadratic equations can be solved by quadratic formula. So kung dili ma-factor nimo ang equation, we cannot use factoring. Pero kung bisan pag di siya ma-factor nga equation, we can use or we can solve the quadratic equation by using quadratic formula. So let us continue. So this equation is a factorable. Again, how to factor it out? Factored out the first term. The first term here is m squared. So factored out m squared, that's m times m. And then factored out the second term, or no, factored out the third term, or the last term of the quadratic equation, which is 238. So factored out 238, that the sum of these two factors is negative 41. So that's negative 34 and negative 7. If you multiply negative 34 and negative 7, the result is positive 238. And if we add negative 34 and negative 7, the result is negative 41. So that idea is only applicable if our a is equal to 1. If you remember the standard form of quadratic equation, that is a squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So in that case, we can apply if a is equal to 1. Now equate the two factors into 0. That is m minus 34 equals 0 and m minus 7 equals 0. And then by idea of the transpose, so negative 34 will be positive 34 and negative 7 will become 7. So there are two values of 7. There are two values of m, 34 and 7. Now, before knowing the value of m, we should check these two values asay mo satisfy nila. So here m equals 34. Using the equation, given equation, negative 3m times the square root of m plus 2 equals m minus 16. Substitute the value of 34. So this will become negative 3 times the square root of 34 plus 2, because m is 34, equals 34 minus 16. Okay, negative 3, add the two radicand, or add the radicand, 34 plus 2, that's 36, equals 34 minus 16, that's 18. And then negative 3, the square root of 36, 36 is a perfect square, which is equal to 6 now. So negative 6 times, negative 3 times 6, that's negative 18, equals 18. That's false, okay? For m equals 7, same, copy the equation, negative 3 times the square root of m plus 2 equals m minus 16. And then substitute the value of m, which is equal to 7, negative 3, mahimo na siyang 7 plus 2 equals 7 minus 16. 7 plus 2, that's 9. So square root of 9 is 3. Then negative 3 times 3, that's negative 9, equals negative 9. That's true. Therefore, the only value of m is 7. 34 is not the value of m in equation. Okay, example number 3. What is the value of x in the cube root of 2x plus 1 equals the cube root of x plus 8? So solution, copy the given equation. Then, again, we are going to cancel out the radical sign. Okay, and how we are going to cancel out? The radical sign? Just take a look on the index. The index is 3. So we are going to subtract cube both sides. Raise the expression by 3 to cancel out the radical sign. So, since muna na siyang idea, makancel out na nato ang radical nga sign, mahabilin na ang radicand na lang. Ang mahabilin ang radicand na lang. So, 2x plus 1 is equal to x plus 8. And then combine like terms. 2x and x are like terms. 1 and 8 are also like terms. So, transposing na itong idea. So, x will be transposed to the left side. 1 will be transposed to the right side. So, ma-change ang sign. Si x mahimong minus x. Si 1 mahimong minus 1. So, 2x minus x is x. And 8 minus 1 is equal to 7. Let us check first before we conclude that the value of x is 7. So, by checking, using the the equation, and then substitute the value of x that we have, that is 7. Then simplify. So 2 times 7, that plus 1 is 15. So cube root of 15 is equal to cube root of 15. True. Therefore, the value of x is 7. Okay, example number 4. Solve for b. Square root of b minus 3 plus the square root of b equals 3. There are two radical expressions. So, kinahanglan mo sa i-transpose sa other side of the equal sign. Here, i-transpose nato si square root of b. So, mahimo na siyang 3 minus square root of b. So, in that case, pwede na tayo maka-extract of square both sides. Okay? Para mas madali na to ang atong solution. Kaya kung katumanggod, primero ato is square, madugay. So, kani nga to pagpadali sa atong problem para ma-solve na to dayon. Okay? So again, when we solve in this kind of problem, kinahanglan usara ka radical expression ang naa sa usa ka side sa equal sign. So here, since duha, i-transpose na to ang usa. So atong i-transpose din si square root of b. So mahimo siyang minus square root of b sa other side of the equal sign. And then subtract na sa square both. And then we square both sides. Kaya ang atong index sa atong radical sign is 2. So, para ma-cancel out nato si radical sign. So here, square root of b minus 3, square root of b minus 3 quantity squared will be b minus 3 equals, this is expansion of square of binomial. So 3 squared, that's 9. Then multiply the exponent and the second term, and also the first term. We have 2 times 3, 6 times the square root of b, so negative 6 square root of b, plus the square of the second term, which is square of b. Square root of b squared is b. Then, combine like terms. Transpose na to si b sa left side, may mo siyang b minus b, as well as 9 sa left side, may mo minus 9. So, b minus b is 0. Negative 3 minus 9 is negative 12. So, ang nabilin sa right side of the equal sign is negative 6 square root of b. Kaya gitranspose mo na to si b o si 9. So, mahimo na siyang negative 12 equals negative 6 square root of b. Then, we divide both sides by negative 6 kaya man-divide man ang duha by negative 6. So, ang mahabilin, 2 equals square root of b. Since napay square root na symbol, so we square both sides para matangtang si radical sign nga square root. Okay? So, square both sides, si 2 square, may mong 4. Ang square root of b, o mo square, b na lang. Therefore, nasolve na nato si b. b equals 4. Pero, ato sa i-check kung sakto ba na ito ang atong to answer by using the equation. Then, substitute the value of b. So, square root of 4 minus 3 plus square root of 4 equals 3. Then, square root of 4 minus 3, that is equal to 1, plus square root of 4 is 2, equals 3. Then, square root of 1 is 1. 1 plus 2 equals 3. 1 plus 2 equals 3. Therefore, the statement is true. So, we already solved the value of b, which is 4. Okay? So, that is how we are going to solve radical equations. So, para mas-solve na to, ato lang tong hinumduman ang atong mga previous skills about transposing, about adding integers, and also expansion of a binomial. Expansion of a square of binomial. And do not forget also the rule nga kinahanglan si radical sign matangtang ato i-cancel out. How to cancel out? Just take a look on the index. Kung ang index nato is 2, we square both sides. Kung ang index nato 3, cube both sides. Kung ang index nato 4, extractag 4 square and extractag ato i-fourth, no? Ato i-raise ang duha ka expression into 4. Kung atong index is 5, we raise 5 both sides of the equation para ma-cancel out nato ang radical sign. Kung ma-cancel out na nato ang radical sign, ato na to i-apply ang we are going to apply the transposing, combining like terms para ma-solve na to ang unknown variable. Okay, I hope you learned something in my discussion today about solving radical equations. Good day and thank you.